Alun nearly died on a glacier.
Play the theme music. And welcome to this episode of Tripology. I'm Alun, and I'm here with the ever glacial Adam.
Alun, how are you, mate?
Adam's been spending some time with the local horses.
Well, I just heard a cow moo out the window. You're going to be able to edit that out?
No, the cow mewing stays in.
Yeah, it adds a little bit of ambiance.
We're here in the Hunza Valley.
We are. God, it's beautiful. I want to move here.
Do you?
Yeah, a little bit.
Adam says that to me almost every place we ever stay. I
now
got a phone call after a week in Lisbon. I think I might live here now. Every week we were in Bombay. Alan, do we live here now?
Yeah.
I hope that cow stays into the recording. It's almost outside the window.
It's comical. No, I would love to spend some time here so that we could explore extensively this area and sort of trek all the mountains that need to be trekked.
We've been doing a little bit of trekking, me and you.
Yeah, a few very tasty day hikes.
Very tasty day hikes we've been accessing solely via hitchhiking.
Yeah, it's been crazy.
I've loved it.
Yeah, it's really cool. People seem so open to it. And what's the longest we've waited for a ride, I guess you'd call it?
For a hitch, maybe 10 minutes.
Yeah, maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes.
I feel like it's a superpower here. You just sort of stand at the side of the road, thumb out, and almost immediately cars pull up, beautiful people. Hey, where are you wanting to go? We've had some amazing hitchhiking adventures.
Yeah, really lovely. And people are so sort of interested in what we're doing, why we're here and where we're from. That's usually the main one. And if you notice there's a bit of a pattern, this is so funny. I normally say we're from the UK, I'm from London, and Alan's from Manchester.
To which the response is inevitably, Manchester United.
Yeah, it's so funny. I reckon it's happened about 30 times in the last 2 weeks.
It's wonderful. We've done day hikes up by Karimabad.
Mm-hmm.
We've done hikes. Where were we today, just?
Scotchy Meadows, I think.
Scotchy Meadows was beautiful.
Yeah.
We've been hiking all over, but what we really wanted to do here in the Hunza Valley, in Gulkin, which is where we currently are, is hike across Gulkin Glacier.
Yeah. It's I'm not that experienced, I'll be honest. You've spent a lot of time in the Everest region. Not your first glacier.
I've hiked across a couple of glaciers in my time, one with crampons, one without.
Oh, okay. Would you recommend that 10 times out of 10 you should be wearing crampons on a glacier?
No, because it depends on whether the glacier is icy or rocky.
Okay.
Now, an icy glacier, you need to be wearing crampons.
Sure.
A rocky glacier presents its own challenges.
So it's just the same glacier, effectively, but with rocks on top of it.
You've got it.
My God.
And the glacier that we tried to hike, Gulkin Glacier, was what kind of glacier?
It was pretty rocky.
Looked rocky to you, was rocky. We hiked up to the sort of precipice of the glacier, and you could hear, you'd never been that close to a glacier before. What were your first impressions?
You can hear the stones moving, which is very sort of unnerving, disconcerting. A stunning view, quite sort of otherworldly, I would say. Lots of different ridges. I was worried there were a few holes that we could have slipped down. But yeah, important to say, it's literally at the back of the property that we're staying in.
Yeah, 20 minutes hike up a precipice to get there.
Yeah, stunning view. But when you can visibly see rocks falling with no other force against them other than just the ground that you're soon to be walking on, shifting, it's not really filling me with confidence, I'll be honest.
Yeah, you could see like boulders tumbling down the glacier side.
Yeah, and hear them as well. I mean, it was echoing around the mountains surrounding it. So yeah, don't want to come across as a bit of a scaredy cat, but I was thinking...
You're just risk averse.
Yeah, I'm just risk averse.
You're risk averse, and I'm the opposite of whatever that is, I think, sometimes.
Yeah. What did we say the other day when... I think it's about complaining, wasn't it, or something? I was saying that if everyone else is complaining, then I'm not. And if I do, you know what I'm saying.
On a graph, as someone complains more, you complain less.
Yes. Yeah, I wonder is that the same for you? Because I was so scared you were really confident, or are you just...
I just don't complain that
in
much
control
in situations like that. Yeah, so I was like, we can do this is fine. But the path disappeared and you'd been given some instructions that we needed to follow a pipeline.
Yeah.
And you made the bold claim that you could see said pipeline out on the glacier, and that if we just got down to the glacier, we could then walk across it by following the pipeline.
Yeah, and also important to add that we've seen and heard of our fair share of landslides in this area. So when we're in northern India, obviously monsoon season, and now here being exposed to sort of long journeys where we see numerous landslides, then you're on rocks which are on like what feels like soft sand, and you can see them moving, you can feel them moving under your feet. You're looking down over an edge thinking, I wouldn't have to do anything that drastic for this to be the end of my life, and we're still trying to descend down onto this glacier.
Yeah, well, one task remained really, because we were sure, well, if we got to the pipeline, we could cross. So I said, look, Adam, you're feeling risk averse. I'll go down first.
Yeah.
Because you can sort of, there's not a route down, but there's shallow enough of an incline that you could sort of carefully make your way down to the glacier proper.
Yeah.
So I slowly began making my way down to the glacier. And every step, the sort of loose rock beneath you shifts slightly.
Yeah.
So you're feeling around as you go for larger rocks and placing your hand upon them, more stable, anchored rocks, and then slowly moving down. And at some point, you're watching me from the top of the precipice, right?
But then you dipped behind this huge rock, and there was just no way. It was like a massive boulder that was stuck into the side of the hill that we were on, and I couldn't see you anymore. I could just see you sort of duck behind it, and I knew you were still there. Because it's quite loud, isn't it? If I slip on the rocks, you can hear under my feet that I've like tripped or something like that. And I couldn't hear anything. I could see you were kind of like assessing it and sitting down on your bum or something.
Yeah, I was holding on to this one big rock as an anchor.
Yeah.
And sort of thinking about how I would move down further.
You were still quite away from the bottom, weren't you? Quite away from the glacier.
Quite away from the bottom, and a lot of rocks were shifting. So I was sort of waiting for the rocks to settle before I made my next move.
Yeah.
You like called out to me. You said, "You okay?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm good." I then moved away from the boulder I was holding on to and just placed a tentative foot down.
Yeah.
And then another tentative foot down. And then behind me, I heard something big shift.
Oh, God. Yeah.
And I turned around to see several rocks the size of bowling balls shift and move.
And probably just as heavy.
Yeah. Now on a glacier,
they're solid rock, Alun.
On a glacier, if something moves,
right,
it by proxy makes everything else in front of it move.
Yeah.
It's hitting other rocks out of the way. It's moving. It's dislodging stone.
Yeah.
So these bowling balls come down in front of me, down the incline, and start shifting the ground I'm under at increasing pace.
Yeah. I remember hearing the beginning of it, just thinking, oh, shit. Because I knew you weren't that close to the bottom already.
Yeah.
I didn't know whether you were somewhere secure, and I just knew you weren't probably able to protect the back of your head.
I just start getting whisked down the side of this glacier, and it's maybe, how many meters would you say, down to the bottom?
Oh, I really don't. It sounded like you were falling for a very long time.
Yeah, like maybe 15 meters, something
10,
like
10,
this.
15, something.
So I start like being pushed basically by all this moving rock right down to the bottom. And I really, the only thing I can do is commit to the journey downwards. So I turn down, I sort of go to my bum and just start sliding down. But rocks are falling all around me and kicking up all this silt and dust. So I kind of arrive at the bottom of this incline in a cloud. I can't see anything at all. And then the aftermath is I'm being pelted at the back by these huge rocks. I like try and protect the back of my head. I try and do this, but I'm like hit. And it's one of the few times in my life where I can really say the only reason I'm not seriously injured was pure dumb luck.
Yeah.
Nothing hit me in the back of the head. I got pelted on the coccyx, pelted on the back a little bit.
You chopped all your hands up.
My hands were bleeding quite profusely. I'll show the camera, but people listening to the audio will just see, will hear me describe. There's just a few cuts and scrapes on my hands. Nothing too crazy. My watch got chipped, and my ring that I've worn for a couple of years got destroyed in the glacial thing, but no serious injury. I was a bit in shock. I was shaking.
Yeah, the scariest part for me as well was not only that I couldn't see you, but you also didn't make a noise. You didn't scream, you didn't say you didn't say help, you didn't say anything at all. You just slid down. So all I heard was you slide down, and then nothing. Dust of smoke behind this rock. I didn't really know what to think.
That's probably bad form of me not to say I'm okay.
Well, I just thought, think the best, just assume the best. And luckily, a few seconds later, you went, all right. And,
I think you asked me if I was okay.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I initiated.
But I didn't want to open my mouth because I was in a cloud of dust at that point. I couldn't see anything.
Yeah. I suppose your back was absolutely caked.
I
took
caked,
half the fucking hill with you.
Yeah, totally.
But then obviously what happened after that, you were really shaken up, very grateful that it wasn't worse, but we knew that meant that this obviously may be an unnecessary risk, and it's probably not a great idea for me to come down.
You had to find at the very least an alternate route.
Yeah. I remember you were a little bit even a bit pissed off, weren't you?
In what way?
That it had happened.
Yeah. Well, I'd beat myself up in situations like that.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, oh.
Do you think you could have done something differently?
Not really. I mean, we shouldn't have gone down that glacier in hindsight.
Yeah.
Because what we thought was a pipeline wasn't.
Yeah, it wasn't. It was just a ridge with something cut out of it that maybe resembled a pipeline, because it was just a straight dark line with a shadow or whatever.
We tried to walk across that glacier for some time and entirely failed.
Yeah, because Glacier, it's not like anything I've ever experienced or been across before, but when you're up high and you look across the glacier, you can see in the distance, that's probably the point that we have to head for. Yeah. But then when you're down on the glacier, everything looks the same. You're moving between crevices, cracks. You can hear the river flowing underneath, which isn't great. And then you walk up to another point and I wasn't expecting to be here. And then you realise you're off course and you get back down again. And yeah, it's quite difficult to find your way. And yeah, after a while, the sun was setting, actually. It was quite late, wasn't it? It just wasn't fun anymore.
You quite rightly said, listen, mate, I'm definitely not comfortable. I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah.
And I, obviously bleeding obliged. And we had to head back, really, didn't we? There was no way we could get all the way across this intransable glacier.
But even that is really where the adventure began, because then we had to scale what we had just fallen down.
Yeah.
And it's, again, exhilarating, definitely. The adrenaline's going, but it's also difficult to describe to someone who's never experienced it, as I was before this, that when you're trying to climb up something, especially behind someone where things are moving, you've almost got to predict the future.
Because let's say I reach out to grab a handhold.
Yeah.
And we're talking about climbing here, a really steep incline. It's not walking.
No.
You have to hip into the wall,
yeah,
and climb back up.
Try and get as close as you possibly can to the rock face. Cling on to rocks which are shifting with, the footing underneath was basically like sand.
Yeah.
It was really, really difficult.
And I'm going ahead of Adam because, you're feeling anxious.
I was feeling a bit anxious.
So I'm going ahead. But if I grab a rock and it goes down, that's falling all the way to Adam.
Yeah.
So he has to maintain distance from me. I'm going up really carefully, but inevitably silt and stuff is being kicked back behind me.
Yeah, I was sort of off to the right-hand side so that if anything did fall, but like you were saying earlier, it takes things with it, and then that sort of movement creates other landslides sort of further along the rock face. So yeah, the heart was in the mouth for a little bit.
But there was a cool bit where I got to a sort of checkpoint where it was a bit more of a stable hold.
Yeah.
And then you came up to meet me there.
Yeah.
And then the last sort of 10 meters, we ascended together side by side.
Yeah.
And it was quite a cool thing, wasn't it? We were reaching out. You were going up one side, I was going up the other. And we were rock climbing up the face of this glacier, headed vertically. And I tell you what, I very, very rarely feel at risk.
Right.
Whilst traveling. I've just, for whatever reason, misguided or not, and I think a lot of listeners will tell me it's misguided.
Yeah.
I feel pretty confident in most situations. But there was a moment there where I was like, this could go wrong so easily.
Yeah.
Because now I'm higher up than I was when I fell the first time.
Yeah.
And that was bad enough to scrape up my knuckles and break my watch and my ring and cover me in dust so I couldn't see.
Yeah.
Falling from this height, the chance of something hitting me in the head or going wrong is pretty high.
Yeah.
So yeah, for the first time in a long time, I felt okay, we've ended up in a rough spot here.
Yeah, I even felt more so that we wouldn't have had to do anything wrong for it to have gone bad. And that is a really scary thing. Even if we had done everything right, because we're weight on the rock face and it's moving, we know it's moving. Even if we'd done everything right, it could just sort of decide to start falling, and then we're doomed.
Because things are shifting anyway in places where we aren't.
Yeah, so it was pretty rough, but we got to the top, and even though it wasn't as high as summiting a mountain, it was still the same sense of achievement.
The elation getting to the top. I screamed out across the glacier like, war cry. Because, what an amazing feeling.
Yeah, it was great. 15 minutes before, we thought, oh God, if this goes wrong, because we were on our own as well. It wasn't like the people that we were staying with didn't know where we had gone. But if anything had happened to either one or both of us, I'm not sure it's even worth thinking about. But it wouldn't have been great, would it?
Yeah. Well, we know it was a little bit irresponsible to go on that hike.
Yep.
We did it anyway.
We saw a great sunset.
And lo and behold, we're going to go on a hike next week. Next week's episode will likely be us hiking across another glacier, but this time we've learned from our mistakes and we're going with a guide.
We are going with a guide.
We're nothing if not adaptable here on Tripology Podcast.
Yeah, got to hope nothing goes wrong when we have a guide.
Yeah, well.
Back to square one.
Yeah, it turns out that he's slightly worse at descending a glacier than I. And with that, we'll go on a brief meditation break.
Amazing.
Like a rock tumbling down the side of a glacier, allow your conscious mind to return into your brain. We've been hiking a lot. We've been surviving glacial experiences. It's been a wild time. What have you got?
It has, mate. And all that is going to continue just tomorrow morning, circa 5-6 a.m. We are going on a lovely little 2-day hike to a nearby summit, including a glacier. We're going to be out in the wildlife. And I would like to test your knowledge.
Oh, God.
It's the latest edition of Tripping Point. Tripping Point. Okay, mate, it's been a number of weeks. I guess you're pretty rusty.
This is the one item, maybe the second item behind Alun's miscellaneous travel item that gives me the most anxiety, because you give me all kinds of questions, don't you?
Yeah, but you are incredibly knowledgeable, very intelligent, even common sense. You tend to get the right answer. So I do fancy your chances.
Sometimes, but this is good training, because I saw you at the breakfast table spy this magazine, and I got an anxious feeling. I was like, maybe he's going to be asking me some questions. So,
well, it's in Backpacker magazine. It was just sitting on the coffee table of the homestay we're in. I thought, what a great opportunity. It is going to be a long one, mate. 12 quick fire questions, and we're going to see how much you know about wildlife.
Okay, well, this is good. We're going on some long hikes together. Maybe get some right. Maybe I'll learn something.
And you like to place a stake on this kind of thing, don't you? There likes to be a little
wager.
A little wager, let's call it. How about if you get less than half, I'm not coming on the hike.
Okay, well, I'm paying full price. I'll pay for you to be there, but you won't be.
Yeah, I don't want to be with you if you don't know enough about wildlife.
Okay, so I'm doing this to basically win my best friend's presents on a 2-day excursion.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah, I'm not going to put my own life at risk again, am I?
Okay, let's go.
Okay, here we go. Question number 1. All snake...
Good start. All snakes.
All snakes. Oh, that was an Australian. That was a different item. Yeah. How many countries you been to, mate? Question number 1. All snake bites are A, neurotoxic, B, defensive, C, aggressive, or D, life-threatening?
Yeah, I reckon if I know backpacking magazines,
right,
I reckon they're trying to protect the snake community and they're making a point. Okay. They're like, because not all snake bites are neurotoxic. I know that for a fact. I reckon the answer is B, defensive.
And you would be right.
Yeah. Okay, do you know why they do that? Because they're going, snakes, they're not very aggressive animals. So nature's your friend.
Is that what it is?
Probably.
All snake bites are defensive.
Not if it wants to kill you. That's aggressive, isn't it? But no, I think what they mean is snakes won't bite humans unless they're provoked in some way.
Right. Okay.
But
that's fair enough. That is fair enough.
Okay.
We'll let him have that one, will we? We'll let you have that one.
Thanks so much.
Okay. Number 2. Fire your bear spray when the charging bear is A, 50 feet away.
Yeah.
B, 40 feet away. C, 30 feet away. Or D, 20 feet away.
Interesting. I think you probably want to do the bear spray as early as possible, if I'm honest.
Sound logic.
Some people will say, what if the bear spray dissipates? Mm-hmm. I say, you can always spray more. So whichever the most one was it 40 feet?
50 feet is A.
50 feet, I'm going to go with that.
So you think there is bear spray that projects 50 feet?
No.
Enough to... No?
No, but I think you want a good line, a good screen of bear spray
Okay.
out in front of you
Yeah.
as deterrent.
Sort of a bear spray mist, if you will, that it can then maybe run into.
Yeah.
Because it's charging. We know it's charging.
But now I'm thinking, oh, maybe, if the bear's 50 meters away, is it feet or meters?
It's feet.
Maybe I don't need to get so aggressive with it. I've got to wait. But is it charging or is it just there?
Yeah, it says fire your bear spray when the charging bear is.
Straight at 50 meters is mine. 50 feet.
50 feet?
Yeah.
Mate, I'm afraid it's 30 feet.
That is, for me, if I fire it at 50 feet, I can fire it again at 30 feet. I don't just have one shot.
Yeah, I guess, what is it, the economy of it? They're trying to make it...
Well, save on bear spray.
Yeah. Save the bears. Save on bear spray.
Okay, right. Well, I got that one wrong.
There you go. I mean, I'm with you, mate. I'd be spraying it. I'm just spraying it walking before I even see a bear.
Charging.
Yeah.
I'm spraying the bear spray. I mean, imagine a bear is charging towards them. They've got the bear spray in hand and they wait for it to run 20 feet further.
I know. I mean, it takes long enough to get it out and, put the thing into action.
I know.
I actually I've been known to not go on hikes because someone told me there could be bears.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, I think that's wise. That's a rational fear.
Risk averse. Oh God, I've seen some long words. Here we go. Number 3, your hiking partner was just bit by a venomous snake.
Defensive.
Yeah. What's your next move? A, tie a tourniquet. A tourniquet?
Tourniquet, yeah.
Okay. Above the wound to isolate the venom.
Mm-hmm.
B, use my knife to cut a deep X over the wound site and start sucking out the venom.
Right.
We just stop there, don't we?
Yeah.
It's probably that.
Yeah, it seems right.
No, you definitely got bit by a snake, and I'm sure it's venomous.
That's why I'm cutting this X into your skin. Yeah.
Or C, attempt to raise his heart rate so his kidneys can process the venom faster. D, keep him calm and get help.
The answer's D, because A is the tourniquet. In order to isolate the venom from going into the rest of his body, it's not going to happen. The venom's already spreading, and he'd have to lose that limb.
This is why I like hiking with you.
Sucking out the venom is just a assault, and you basically need anti-venom. So
you perfect.
You've got to call for help.
Okay, you are correct.
Thank you so much.
This is amazing. You're brilliant. Okay, here we go. That's 2 out of 3. Ain't bad. Number 4. If confronted, which of these should you hold eye contact with?
Okay.
I'm looking forward to these answers.
Okay.
A mountain lion.
Yep.
B, a bear.
Uh-huh.
C, a moose. Or D, a wolf.
Can I give more than one answer?
Well, oh my God.
All of them. Because I would do it with I would do it with the feline and I would do it with the wolf. Because I don't want either of those to see my back. The bear I'm running away from.
Okay.
The moose, I mean, I'm going up and taking a selfie with it.
With a moose?
Yeah.
Really? They're very dangerous, Alun.
Whatever. The mountain lion, if I turn my back, it jumps on me. The wolf, probably the same. So I'm looking them both dead in the eyes, those two.
Okay, so we're saying A and D for number 4. Mate, you bang on. It doesn't even say. Oh, it says choose all that can apply.
Yeah, it's the mountain lion and the wolf, man.
I mean...
You got to be careful.
Good job.
With canines, you got to be careful with felines.
But haven't we, because of our time in Canada, we know that cougars, they often see you hours before you see them.
They do, but if you turn your back to a cougar, it will charge you down.
And you will lose.
Yeah,
inevitably.
usually.
Okay, fair enough. Well, we're learning things. This is great. Number 5, which is the most successful killer of humans? A, bears, B, mosquitoes, C, mountain lions, or D, wolves?
It's mosquitoes. If you're talking about all of global history,
right,
the transmission of malaria, I mean, has caused more deaths than any other thing ever.
Has it really?
Yeah.
Even old age?
Even all the wars behind, like all that stuff. They say that, I think it's that malaria has caused over half of human deaths since history began.
Oh my God.
Less now.
Right.
You take doxycycline or any of those sorts of things, but they used to kill a lot of people. But my answer is mosquitoes because of malaria.
Yeah.
But are they counting that as the mosquito being responsible?
Yeah, I mean, does that count as a successful kill?
Right.
Yeah, the way they've worded it.
Okay, so
isn't great.
Give me the options and I'll give you a an out?
Well, mate, you've got the answer right.
Oh, so it is.
It's bang on.
Okay, so it does count as a successful kill. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Your thought process was absolutely spot on.
Yeah. So, but that suggests that the mosquito is somehow trying to like predate humans.
Yeah.
It's not. It's just carrying a parasite.
I know. And
it's a shame.
Does that mean that the mosquito itself kills the human?
No.
But is that like saying, oh, the lion's bite, is that what killed the human? Yeah, often, yes.
Maybe.
You're doing really well, mate. 4 out of 5.
Thanks, dude.
Number 6. Which animals have the most powerful jaws? A. Snapping turtles. B. Beavers.
Yeah.
C. A grizzly bear. Or D. Mountain lions.
Does it mean pound for pound, though? Because a snapping turtle might have a more powerful bite pound for pound.
Right.
But, I
The
mean...
amount of torque that it generates from its jaw.
My father is often keen to tell me that the stoat has pound for pound the most powerful animal bite.
Really?
But I'd rather get bitten by a stoat than by a crocodile.
Yes, I would agree.
So, which has the most powerful bite? Snapping turtles, bears?
Most powerful jaws. Snapping turtles, beavers, grizzly bears, or mountain lions.
Jaws. I'm going to go controversially. I reckon maybe a snapping turtle can generate more force, but it's just less deadly for humans. I'm going to go snapping turtle.
It's grizzly bear.
Yeah, I mean, it's an intuitive answer.
Yeah. So
I'd definitely be most scared of a grizzly bear.
Of its bite as well.
Yeah, of course.
Have you seen their fucking claws? That's enough to give you nightmares.
But just so the audience knows, I didn't think that a snapping turtle would cause more damage than a grizzly bear. But pound for pound, maybe they generate more acceleration or something. You know?
Right, yeah, gotcha.
Anyway.
Moving on, number 7. True or false? Menstruating women attract bears.
What, like they make a concerted effort to?
Yeah, we are talking about bears the animal and not really big hairy guys.
Yeah. Look, I've heard this as a myth about sharks.
Oh yeah, similar sort of thing.
Menstruating women get in the water.
Yeah.
And basically they, I don't think that's true. I think sharks are attracted to a very specific type of blood and motion simultaneous.
Right, okay.
But I just think anything that smells of anything is going to attract a bear more than nothing. So I would say menstrual blood counts as something. So yes, I think the answer is yes.
It's actually false.
Is it?
It says false. Yeah, maybe you went a little bit too deep because what you're saying is probably true.
What? So does someone who's menstruating attract a bear less than the absence of anything?
It's a fair point, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure if I have 100 meters with nothing in it,
yeah,
and I put a menstruating woman in the other 100 meters, the bear's going that way.
Or if you're walking in a group on a hike and you have a menstruating woman with you, the bear's just not there. It's just not there because they don't attract that.
Yeah, exactly.
Always take a menstruating woman with you on a hike is really what the takeaway.
Yeah. You don't need bear spray as long as you've got a menstruating woman with you. Okay, well, how many have I got right and how many are left?
You're still on 4 and that's out of 7.
Okay, great.
So we've got 12 questions in total. You're on track.
Okay, 6 more to go. 5 more.
Number 8. Howling along with wolves tells them A, I'm scared, B, I'm scary, C, I'm here, or D, absolutely nothing.
I mean, it definitely tells them that you're here.
Okay.
Because it's a noise made by something.
Right.
So it means that you're there. I don't think it's communicating to them in their language, but you're making a noise, they'll know you're there.
Correct.
Thank you.
Amazing. I'm here. Yeah, I mean, is that something you'd recommend, given your experience?
No.
With animals?
I think that the wolf's going to know you're there probably just by the fact that you're walking around being a loudmouth human being. But, I mean, howling at the wolf.
Let's tell the wolves that we're here by howling along with them so they know.
It's not recommending, is it? It's just saying that's what a wolf will interpret from that if you do it.
Yeah, correct. Yeah. Correct. Great answer. You're doing really well, mate.
Thanks.
I'm very proud. I'm looking forward to the hike. Don't fuck it up. A bear's sense of smell is 100 times, 500 times, 1,000 times, or 2,000 times more powerful than a person's.
If I get this right, you're coming on the hike, right? This is the halfway point for me. 6
that
out
will
of 12.
be 6. That will be 6. Yeah.
I reckon the max. I reckon it's 2,000 times more powerful than a human.
You think a bear's sense of smell is 2,000 times more powerful than a sense of smell? Okay.
I have no intuition about how much 2,000 times sense of smell is, but I just know that effing powerful bears smell.
On the nose, mate.
Yeah.
There you go.
Coming to the hike.
Whee!
Pass through Glacier. The boys, the trip boys, going on a hike.
The rest is just a bonus point.
Okay, let's quick fire through the rest.
But really, yeah, that is correct. Okay, here we go. Mice can spread which diseases? Choose all that apply. A, influenza, B, hantavirus, C, Lyme disease, or D, encephalitis.
Encephalitis and Hansa.
Let's have a little look. Yes. How do you know that?
Because I know that Lyme disease is from ticks, and the first one, influenza, that's when you're sneezing on people.
All right, number 11. True or false? Peeing. Careful.
Jellyfish.
Peeing a perimeter around your tent will keep predators at bay. A, true, B, false.
I mean, you're marking your territory, aren't you? But I don't think animals care that much about human pee, so false.
Mate, you're really, really good. It's a waste of time.
Yeah.
All the times you peed around our camp, it's
I
a
know.
complete waste of time.
Around our dorm room.
Yeah. There you are, guzzling water. All right, you ready for the last one?
This is the last question.
It's the last one.
How many have we got right now?
You're looking at 8.
Okay.
8 out of 11.
9
Amazing.
out of 12 is not bad. Let's shoot for it.
Not bad at all. Number 12. When a deer screams, it means A, it's scared, B, it's angry, C, it's looking for love.
Yes.
Or D, any of these.
It's looking for love, baby, I think. But any of these might be the answer. I know that deers do bark. They go nuts when they're looking for a mate, especially elk. They go absolutely wild. And I would think it would be advantageous to a deer to be quiet in almost all of the scenarios.
Okay.
So definitely it's looking for love. But if it's angry or scared, maybe it makes a noise as well. So I'm
Yeah.
going to go with all of the above.
A deer's scream. Yeah, it is any of these.
There
Wow.
you go.
That's amazing. You know what that means, right?
Yeah, tell me.
There's a little how did you do section where you can look at how many points you scored.
Okay.
You got 9,
Mm.
which is, I think, admirable. I
Thank
think it's fantastic. 0 to 3 correct. Bring a friend you can outrun. I think that might be what I was scoring.
Okay.
I'm glad you were taking the quiz. 3 to 6 correct. You know just enough to get hurt.
Okay.
Dangerous. Little knowledge can
Yeah.
be dangerous. 7 to 9. This is a category you're in.
Okay.
You know just enough to stay safe.
Just enough to stay safe.
Yeah, I mean, I think you did better. I think,
Okay.
yeah, it's a bit unfair.
Okay.
Really. You're at the very top end of that category.
Mm-hmm.
And then 10 to 12 correct is top of the food chain.
Okay. So there we go. Tripology podcast. But for a lack of knowledge about the female menstruation cycle, I'm not quite safe, but pretty good at hiking about.
Well, I think if we see any mountain lions, bears, moose, or wolves, I'm going to feel relaxed.
If we're back to back,
Yeah.
we can face off with a mountain lion and a wolf simultaneously.
And I'll be carrying the bear spray, I guess. Not it's going to do anything in that situation.
Make sure to spray it at 30 feet, not a moment earlier.
Save the bears, save the bear spray.
Email the show, tripologypodcast@gmail.com. Send us a message on Instagram @tripologypodcast. Right now,
We're going to go to the Lost and Found section, patreon.com/tripologypodcast. We'd love to see you there for 15 minutes or so of bonus content.
yeah, it comes out a day early and is never heard before if you're just tuning into the regular feed. So head over there, you can catch that. We'll see you next week.
We'll see you there.
Bye.